think that they'll lose both of their best maps again in a series. Like, I feel like that's one of those things that I just can't really believe in. Like, especially with how consistent ViCi are at being like that second place team in the tournament. Sure, they lose some silly matches, like literally a few days ago, losing to Team Wings Up. But
yes, Team Wings Up.
but that
They have
yeah. They have DD, so I know DD. He actually finished bottom of the board for his team, but it's one of those matches where the maps they lost is Overpass, one they don't really play, and Mirage, which is normally a 50-50. Whereas the maps they lost to Tiger, as said, were Nuke and Train, which for anybody who doesn't know, even with those losses included, they have an 80% and 79% win rate on them. So,
not bad.
and that's against even like the best teams. Like there was a reason for a long time Tyler were banning out Nuke is because it was ViCi's best map. Then they've actually moved over to Train because it was ViCi's other best map. Like it's one of those things where you can see them making altercations to try and avoid this team. Whereas Tiger, they've actively picked into one of the maps and left the other in as a third. So clearly Tiger don't fear them on either, which is definitely a good sign. The one thing that worries me a bit is there have definitely been vulnerabilities in both maps shown. I think specifically on Train, it's a broken record at this point, but they are severely reliant on Urkes. Like his B site hold, I've not been overly impressed with it. Like it's not bad, but it revolves around him getting a multi-frag. And considering that is statistically the most retakeable site in the game, if he needs to get more than one kill for you to be able to retake it, that means you don't have a very good retake.
Yeah, well, I think realistically, when we look down towards Tiger's CT sides, they ain't been good. I can actually grab the stats here for the last couple games that they've played when it comes to Train. And so there we go. So versus Beyond, it was 6 rounds on the T side. Not too bad. 5 rounds on the CT side. Pretty bad. Now remember, Beyond didn't even make it through to playoffs. Like this team from last season had garnered a lot of respect from me. They were a team that I was definitely behind, but much like Lucid Dream, they let me down. I had faith and I'm starting to lose it in everyone at this point. But then you go back to the ViCi game and their CT side featured 11 rounds versus Invictus 7, which obviously with it being the game ended then, but it was 7-5. It was a tight CT side. Only the fact that they'd built up 9 on the T had given them that much of a leap ahead. I think we've seen not so much on Train actually as I look through the previous games when New Happy, I don't know who they are, Bren after Beyond. They've been okay at best CT side. But versus Beyond, they were terrible. So they definitely need to overcome that. Pistol, okay. Hell of a strap by Kaze. And the fact that Jam Young's tucked in, surely they never expect. Well, if he swings wide, they will. Never mind.
I can respect the fact that he wanted to try and just get out of there. Make sure that you play the numbers game in your favor. I think that's something that teams within this region definitely don't do enough.
Yeah. He just shot his shot, right? Rather than let the Glocks get up close where he is definitely going to be 1-for-1 traded.
Yeah, and that's not what we expect from Jam Young. We've come to expect quite a bit more. He's definitely had a few flat series within this tournament so far. Someone that at the beginning we were thinking could have one of the most positive KDs we've ever seen. Like those first few matches from ViCi were squeaky clean, and then things went a little bit wrong. Kaze is gonna get back up in the faces, and he's gonna be punished for it. Dobu finding the trade, and now the execution begins. The investment into Nate. What a shot from Jam Young. His opponent flying through the air, but it's all too easy for him. Again, though, almost finding a trade onto the young man. He's going to be going up above, but eventually he will be traded out. His teammates a little bit far behind to try and get the trade, but in reality, Dobu's in a horrible position to do anything with this bomb. Now, all they have to do is wait. Like, he needs to try and find a position to plant, and he's not going to be able to. He's dropped the bomb, he's left it onto Urkes, and Orman is going to complete his triple kill. ViCi, they find themselves the pistol, and while there can't really be too much of an investment here for Tiger without the bomb plant.
Now, this one has to be taken nice and lightly, and I do... So, let's just talk about the Kaze play. Oh, he had a CZ. He went up the ladder. Now, logic behind that, they had seen the players there. what, 10 seconds ago. They want to double check. Are these guys still around? They probably thought, I'm guessing by Kaze's push, that those guys had gone back and were moving towards Pop Dog and maybe an A hit or a more passive position to set up smokes if they had them. The fact that he's the one that goes and checks for it, I'm not a fan of. Obviously, it's quicker, but I would rather Jam Young go towards the back of heaven and check it that way, or up on top of oil again, just pop his head up, where at least he can escape if they are there, as opposed to just running up the top of the ladder where you're at a distinct disadvantage in that fight.
The only thing I would say is I'd agree with the sentiment if it wasn't for the weapon he had. And that, like, the CZ at range is... I wouldn't even call it a 50-50. Like, I think at range that gun sucks. So I understand why he wanted to get up close. So I get, like, I don't think
that's what I'm saying. Jam Young, who had the USB, he was back sight. He could have went back over to oil and just checked it that way.
I think it was more just... I'm not necessarily sure whether or not they were checking if they're there. I think it was more that he wanted to try and get in the face and fight them, which, and as said, it's not the best duel in the world, but with that gun, I can understand why he wouldn't want to wait for them to execute onto the side, because chances are he's just going to get wrecked anyway.
Yeah, 4v5, make that kind of play with support from backside. I think that's a tough one for me to swallow then. It turns from an information play into just a bad decision. If he was solo, I'd see it, but when he's got Jam Young backside and a player quick rotation through connector, it just seems like an unnecessary move. So, like, I like the fact they get that second round flawlessly. Obviously, they've got 2 SMGs and a scout. The scout still going to be perfectly viable. SMGs situational. You're going to have to use them in a certain way, and they decide to go straight up the ramp to force the close range duels, but the flashes, Cabal gets away with a double. That's heartbreaking. It's both SMGs. As I said, you know, they are situational. You can use them to hold close and pop or to push ramp, and you're pretty much out of options at that point. Maybe a passive hold over towards Ivy. And so they try to make a play. It doesn't work out, and that's the problem in rounds like this, Tom, isn't it? Like, you have to take a risk, and sometimes it just doesn't pay off and the round's already lost.
Yeah, and unfortunately as well, they've lost the rifle. Like, Orman's reaction is obviously to try and make a play, take some map control back after pretty much completely losing the B site. And he also loses his duel. If he wins that one, who knows? Maybe there's a slim chance, a world where they could at least bring some weaponry into the next. Unfortunately, now they're left with a FAMAS, which... It's a FAMAS, it's much of a muchness, not the greatest save in the world. And a Scout, which, again, it's viable going into the next round, but it's not ideal. Like, realistically, you want to be trying to get the AWP in, which they could, but it's dependent on how, well, I guess the way I'd put it is how hard they want Kaze to carry them in the next round. Either that, or they could just opt to take this one as more of a save. Like, keep those 2 weapons in, invest a small amount into some pistols, and then have an absolute banging buy in the next round. But they are going to go for option A. The AWP's been bought up by Jam Young. I do wonder if he's going to man it himself, or if he will just take on the Scout, which, although, like, it's a pretty horrible trade, I would never actively say that's a worthwhile trade. In fact, Orman's going to be the one to take the Scout. I kind of rate it, although they have just reset the round, so maybe not. We'll see. They still invest into the AWP. Kaze's going to have that. Orman's going to have the Scout. And yeah, it's all in all not a bad buy whatsoever, thanks to the couple of players saving. And now that Kaze's got an AWP, this is where things do get a little bit tough, because that's the one thing we haven't really spoken about too much. I've mentioned it a fair few times. I think 9 is a decent AWPer. I don't think he's well, I was going to say world-beating, but well, I don't know if any of these players are world-beating AWPers, a continent-beating AWPer, because I just don't think he matches up in any way, shape, or form versus Kaze. Like, he's going to have a very good game to compete, and for their sake, on this map especially, I hope they do. Luckily, there's a lot of other avenues of talented players on this team. I think Cabal has been someone I've thoroughly enjoyed watching throughout the tournament. Cass doesn't even need to be mentioned. He's been so good. And Dobu's been that player who really has sort of risen into this tournament, seemingly getting better and better as he goes. So I'm definitely excited to see how they perform on this one. Not excited to see their double up on the CT side, because I know it's coming, and personally I think it sucks. But I can live with it.
Oh, there's a nice opening by Dobu. He's just shut down the aggression of Advent in towards T main, but he's going to go in for a peek that Kaze is all too ready for. He's now looking towards Ivy, where there's a second player. Right side, the nade goes through. It does decent damage. I'm going to help him get the kill, though, because he's got the up, and they're pushing. He goes through the smoke in Ivy. Zoking right into T main. There is no way Tiger expect this. This is ludicrous aggression, but Nine, he didn't expect it, but he hit the reaction shot. What a play by Nine, and that has pulled them right back into this round. Disaster avoided, because that could have been the bomb dropped. It was right outside of T main. Urcast opens up the site, and Kaze is left trying to recover this. He manages to drop Urcast, but the bomb's still making its way onto that bomb site. It's about to be planted. Jam Young wants to play around that smoke and punish him, but as he jumps up on top, Cabal is all too ready. And a 1v3 on what would have to be an ace clutch. Not looking too likely, and that AWP is a very valuable weapon that they want to save through. In the next round, they won't be able to buy around it, though, either.
Cabal.
And even saving it might be impossible, because as you said, Tom, Cabal, he has got a wildly unexpected position.
Yeah, there's no way. Kaze will have to hit the craziest reaction shot of all time.
Oh, Cabal.
He just wants to kill. I can respect it.
No.
They're going to pick up the AWP as well.
No, I respect
you want to watch more somebody plays? Is that what you're looking for? Because they'll be coming up later today. Don't worry.
Oh, God.
You got to jump behind your opponent to let you know you're there and then kill them. That's so sadistic as well to do that. I can't believe he did that earlier in the tournament. For anybody who doesn't know, basically somebody was in that exact position, and what he decided to do was jump behind his opponent before he knifed him, just to let him know that the knife was coming. It is truly evil. I don't think I've ever seen someone do something like that before. The man is a monster in more ways than one. And, yeah, it was entertaining, but at the same time, you gotta be a real douche to do that.
It's one thing that Hip does, actually. If he finds someone planting the, well, in Valorant, the spike or the bomb here, he'll shoot them in the leg and just stare at them for a second, just so they know that death is coming. Just taps them once, waits, then they pull out their gun.
I'm guessing that's them. Is that knowing that they have to plant? Like they're running out of time? Or is it just any time they're planting? How has Jam Young got that kill?
Oh,
How has
no.
Advent got that kill? Oh, dearie me. Please, Tiger. Tiger, you're meant to be one of the top teams in the tournament. You can't use to one Deagle and some USPs. Okay. Oh, I actually like that. Reposition just to make sure that he can't take the kill. Nice one from Cabal. They're bringing this back because they found an AK. It's left onto 9. He's going to save them. Oh, dear Lord. That was way too close. 4 kills with a $700 investment. That is a pretty damn good return on investment coming out from ViCi. Tiger. Well, I wasn't thinking my butt cheeks would clench that much this early in the morning.
Yeah, you're pulling a Dinko on that one for sure. You know, I really was not expecting this to be a round worth any sort of comment, but Tiger certainly made it an interesting one. Let's put it that way. Jeez. Well, ViCi, bunch of kills under their belt. They've definitely managed to deal some damage to the Tiger economy, more so than what I would have expected this early on, but there is still plenty of cash built up for the T side. You can see at the moment, they're very spread out. Looking for a bit of Ivy control, though. That's the name of the game, and they're just smoked off. It's going to be a boost up above. Just going to see if they can catch anyone off, but they're not going to, because ViCi, well, they have hard rotated. Look at how passive of a hold this is, with Kaze watching it from Brown Train, because obviously he's got the cover of a pushed up Advent who's watching T main, and Zoking who's inside of Pop. This is a ridiculously forward position to take out very early on in buy rounds. And honestly, I think this will catch Tiger completely off guard. It's very rare that you expect this kind of play. As well as that, it's unlikely they smoke the bomb side of Ivy when they do push out, which is almost a guaranteed kill for Kaze straight away.
I don't like that smoke. Yeah, I was about to say, Advent's going to have to move into position to cover that smoke. The only problem with this setup that I don't like, and this is just me being a little bit critical, is that the linchpin of the whole setup is Advent. And that's terrifying for me, because if he dies, then it becomes very difficult for them to hold on. It's going to be left up to Kaze, and well, maybe he can turn the tide. Kaze, with a spinning triple, leaves 2 players standing. He's definitely come to play today. As I said, I don't think there's anybody that matches up to him and his AWPing prowess. Jam Young just about wins that duel versus NCL, and now it's left on to Cabal. Strong start to this game, but 10 seconds. He'll need a miracle to get something done, and Orman is there to close the round. Okay, I was about to say, don't leave the AWP on the ground, but yeah, you kind of see what I mean there. Like, if Kaze had to get 3 kills there for them to just about win the round, and even then, I feel like there was a duel won by Jam Young. If he loses, they still could have lost. Yeah. I'm not a fan of that being a setup where he's that crucial. No offense, Advent, but in this sort of matchup, I think you need to be playing more of a supportive role.
Yeah, Jam Young got away with that just because of a whiff, really, by the T. I don't think that should have been a fight that he won, really, because there was a number of bullets missed on him. And when you look at ViCi in that position, Kaze, he just blew my socks off. That 3rd kill on the spin towards Ivy, that was 9 with an AWP holding him. Like, he should not have gotten away with that. He's so quick. It's unbelievable. That was a pre-fire with the AWP as he swung around. And thankfully, it just about pulled off the round for ViCi, but they're still up against a full buy. As we'd already said, you know, there is plenty of cash at the disposal of the T side, but it has now faded away. This was the last ditch buy before we end up on a free round for ViCi. They've interestingly smoked themselves out of pop. A flash gonna pop as they swing on through, and it's actually blinded up the CT, so they get away with that one as they run out. Alman only good for 1, and a man advantage now for Tiger, and almost a guaranteed bomb plant. They are losing players, but they're trading them out. That's all they need to do with this kind of advantage.
Jam Young over the top, though. The boost has given them an even scenario, at least for the moment. Cabal's actually going to be manning the AWP. We'll see if it works this time. And NCL has managed to get the bomb down. He's trying to wait for some sort of cross, but the wraparound has come in from Kaze. Trying to reposition, get a better angle onto Cabal, who's watching the angle, and he's not going to miss a shot like that. Jam Young, though, has found a way back in. The flashbang over the top. He actually blinds himself, but does make the cross. And now the Molotov looking to go onto the bomb. There isn't a kit. If he gets this down, even with a few seconds left, he's already won. I think this round is over, in fact. It's going to be the AWP picked up. Still no kit. He's Molotoved himself off. But even that is enough of an elaborate ruse. He's going to kill him. This is actually really smart from Jam Young. He's trying to get the bomb to do the work for him, but Cabal actually gets far enough away.
That could have been so awkward, man. Oh, I really like the idea. I was watching it going, oh, he's broken the glass. Good plan so he can get the molly out. Oh, he's even got a lineup for it. And then... oh, God, that was awkward. Well, luckily they don't get punished for it. And he does get away with the weapon. Oh, I really hope we've got that molly. Oh, that was glorious. I thought he had a lineup, man. The way he, like, walked back so confidently, set it up. Oh no, he can't help but laugh at that one. I'm sure he's laughing at himself, but whoa! What a push! It's just gone with an MP9. He's sending it. The flash came through to help him out. Didn't blind anyone, but they had no idea because of the op being further back. That's what it's all about, Tom. You know, you start to condition your opponents by playing a certain way. It's been that passive Ivy hold with one player. This time they send an MP9 up close, they wait, and they show off the op. They back off with it, and that's when the T's think, all right, we'll just smoke left side, we'll walk up, we'll get to site, split it with our teammates, and oh, there's a dude with an MP9. How does this happen?
Yeah, considering the last few round like executions we've seen. Oh. Okay. Don't
just silly. That's
so...
Tom. That's the guy that we played with yesterday. That's what he'd call a refrag, but it's not what I would call a refrag because that is a few seconds too late. It was. Oh no, wait. It was Dinko. Was it you we were playing with? I was playing with. Oh yeah, some guy just like he swung 5 seconds after our teammate had died, and then screamed at me for not helping him when I was nowhere near. These things happen.
By the way, that was a really clean shot with the FAMAS. Like, that's not a phrase that I utter.
I think I've ever heard you say that.
Like, ever. Like, that but Jam Young, he pulls off miracles. Let's put it that way. And that's why that play made me feel so uncomfortable, because if he loses that, it's a 1v2 for Dobu. Nobu can definitely win that 1v2. Now, unfortunately, because they lost to what was basically an MP9, a 5-7, sure there was an AWP in the mix, and obviously the FAMAS
as well, yeah.
it has destroyed the economy of Tiger, and they're about to try and put some pressure onto Jam Young. He is somewhat alone. There's a player around the connector, but Jam Young pretty good in these sort of positions. Kabal, though, has been able to overwhelm him. The Incendiary are going to go down to try and stop them on the cross, but they've already made it past. Molotov, well, it doesn't really deny them, but it at least slows down the rotation, and Dobu is going to try and make a bit more of an aggressive play. This is how you need to play this. We know how retakeable this site can be. There is, of course, a couple of kits available, but there's also a double AWP. Zoking, he's actually just going to sneak into the crosshair of Kabal, and now Dobu has a huge job to do as Zoking's just started this retake all on his own. The rest of the team a little bit far behind. That was flawless from ViCi. I thought they'd retake it, but I didn't think it would be that clean.
Didn't look all too likely, did it? That they would get away with it in such a squeaky clean manner, but they've managed to pull it across the line 5-4. The Tiger, you know, obviously not a great round considering the fact that they're left with nothing. They get in, they get the bomb plant, they get 1 kill. I think that's a bit of a deflating position to be in, especially, you know, 5-4 or 6-4 as it will likely be. It ain't bad. The issue for me is their CT side, man. There's so many question marks around how they're going to perform there, and I really don't see it as being something they can rely on. I want to see them finish out 7 rounds or so T side to give me that little bit of extra boost of confidence in them. Well, that'll be tough. Obviously starts in the next round where the opportunities are there, and they'll have 2 buy rounds to go before ViCi are in a really solid position. Obviously, the loss bonus starts to build up as well, and you'd really like a bomb plant in this round, but they've left the bomb all the way back in T-spawn as they're pushing up. This is going to have to be 9, presumably full rotating to grab that. If they don't get this... What? Alman's playing this... Yeah, unreasonably aggressive. Now he has got an M4 watching the push out, but they can still challenge him without that M. They can even trade without that M4. And now the M4's pulled off. So okay, they smoked it. He's got the AWP back out. But that was
there's been a few moments like that for Orman where he is taking some unreasonably aggressive peaks. And if you compare him to the rest of the squad, like, okay, sure, Zoking will do it every once in a while, but we know that that's like sort of within the parameters of this team, that Zoking's going to be a little bit more aggressive than everyone else, try and take map control away. If you're playing an AWP in a pistol round, don't play aggressive, please. Like,
don't take your deagle out.
Yeah, there's just no reason for it. It's an unnecessary risk. They're going to try and get in onto the B site, but at this point, well, that's all just the elaborate ruse. NCL's hoping for a bomb plant. They do manage to get 1 kill. Now, there's no reason to peek. In fact, it'd be better to just let him survive in those moments. But, hey, Kaze, he wants to pad those stats further. 14-5, by the way. And this is somewhat what I meant. Like, obviously, we haven't seen 9 on the CT side yet. But I do kind of feel like the most prominent AWPers on train, they do a lot for their team on the T side. They get those openers. They set them up for those 5v4s early in the round. I haven't seen him take too many confident peaks. And even if he has had a duel with Kaze, even if it's been favorable to him, he's lost.
Tom, let me just real quick circle back to the point we just made about the deagle, because I'm sure someone's going to have the comment of, well, there were 2 players there and he might have been swung on. So the deal made sense, right? Because he wouldn't have the rate of fire with the AWP to take both them down. He'd be traded, and they might get a free AWP. Now, the issue I have with that is he doesn't need to be there. He could have fallen back. That's more so the problem. It's not that he wasn't tucked in the corner of IV with his AWP out. It's that he was tucked in the corner of IV in the first place, where he has to take the deagle out, obviously. But I just think he should have fallen back in that position, played much more passive, where he can either take a shot and leave, or where he's just not holding it. You know, allow your teammate that's on site to watch it as he was. It was an odd situation for sure. As I said, it's just one of those situations that have come up a couple of times. Another very aggressive hold in towards T main. You got 2 players here, nades for left side, nobody spotted. Now, they got that molly down early enough that there was no way they were going to be crossed over left. Well, unless they were the flash. And so at least the nades don't fall on anybody for Tiger. It's a decent start, avoiding what could have been a bit of a disaster. They get a little bit of control towards upper B as well. They've spotted out it's completely clear, but they need to regain T main. And as they push in, there's a player up on top of blue and one down below, ready to just take them down. And you can see they're being very, very cautious of this push in, knowing that off the back of the utility used early on, this map control ain't going to be easy to seize back.
I really like how ViCi are consistently changing up their CT side setup. It makes it so hard for the T's to play against, constantly having to recheck positions because ViCi will try and claim things later into the round, and they have this double pronged setup in towards A main. So Dobu, the timing might actually benefit him. Advent's gonna look away. They put a late smoke down, and Zoking's managed to get himself further into the corner. This might be a fairly big surprise for anybody looking to try and make an execution, and they're running out of time. There's only 20 seconds coming up on the clock, and they don't know this man is here. They don't know he's sat in the corner. They're not going to check it. That's the bomb down. That's another few seconds wasted. 15 seconds to try and get onto this site. This has to be some of the fastest openers ever in Advent. He's going to whiff his spray. Luckily, Kaze is there. That's the bomb dropped. That is pretty much the round over. All they need is this kill, and it's going to be saved. Kabao! He gets such an important frag. He might be able to win it. He's going to. That's ridiculous. A couple of whiffs is all it takes. And, well, ViCi, they did everything right in that round. Absolutely everything. And Kabao, well, he managed to bail out his teammate while planting the bomb. That was very impressive, but at the same time, what happened, ViCi? Come on.
My man's just finished this round off with a triple burst Glock. Now, that is a first for me. Clutching out a round with a Glock on triple burst versus a full buy. Look at this. He just goes, out comes the Glock. Triple.
I don't really want to, like, harp on Orman too much there, but you have a free kill that frees up your teammate. And I know that if you kill the bomb planter, you win the round, but the bomb planter can't kill you. So that's always the sort of gamble play that you make a lot of the time in Counter-Strike, is the fact that if someone's planting the bomb, you want to kill the guy who's not planting the bomb, because surprisingly, the guy planting the bomb can't do anything. Sure, it would have denied money, but at that point, ViCi needed to focus on winning the round. So again, it's a small detail. I can understand why Orman was trying to deny the plant, obviously, because he just wins if he does that. But I feel like there's been a couple of times where there's a better decision to be made, and unfortunately, Orman doesn't quite make the right one.
Yeah, I'm with you there, Tom. I can definitely agree with that sentiment. You got to shoot the guy, eliminate the threat first, right? Yeah. And take the other. Yeah.
Well, also, then, even if he can't get around the corner quick enough, Jamyung trades that kill every time because he can get out of pop. So it's basically, rather than having, say, like that round where it ended up being fairly 50-50 in the 2v2, it's 100-0 pretty much. Like the only way you see, like, the planter winning that is if they manage to do what Kaze did earlier, where they 180 get a kill. Nonetheless, there's still money for the CT side. That was the chance to really put the pain onto their opponents. As we've already said, like, Tiger's CT side hasn't been overly impressive, so it's definitely not a death sentence that we're seeing so many T rounds come up for Tiger, but it could be a much better situation for ViCi, and you don't want to be in a spot where you rely too heavily on the pistol round.
There's a real possibility things start to spiral a little bit when it comes over to the next half, and I think certainly the mental game comes into it. These are some rounds that they shouldn't have lost. The Tiger have gotten away with. It can be hard to really keep yourself in that positive mindset. We'll see for ViCi how this one goes. The last ditch buy. Oh, Jamyung. He's jammed himself in between three terrorists, and they knew what was happening. He was headbutting them in the smoke. Unfortunately, that doesn't do any damage. I don't know how Kaze stayed alive so long, and Alman eventually trades it, but it's a 2v4 retake. They're never going for that, not with this kind of money. And so this is this is going to be just a hard save. Oh, they want the op, but it might cost them. Alman's been hunted down aggressively. They've missed their jump up, though. Urkast, he bumped his head on the way through. Luckily, they catch Alman anyways. Urkast trailing a little bit behind on that one. And yeah, the greed of picking up that op. Well, it's one of the 7 deadly sins, and it certainly was deadly this time.
Our scoreline equalized, and Advent going to be the only one with any weaponry going into the next round. This has gone from looking like a decent position, 6-4, a good opportunity to win the round, to, well, this.
That's just an upsetting round, isn't it? Oh, Dinko just texting us there. Tiger got 11 rounds CT side. We already touched on this, Dinko. God damn it. Their game versus ViCi was good. Their other games, like the most recent one versus Beyond, was shocking. They had a really, really bad CT side there. We've seen it before. I think Beyond in particular seemed to just exploit them when it comes to T side, which is odd of all the teams to be losing to. But I do think that previous time we saw ViCi play Tiger, to me, I was happy to come into this series and say, well, it was a hiccup bump in the road. You know, they definitely weren't on form that day. We all have those games, right? But from what we're seeing right now, it looks like Tiger they've got the ViCi playbook out. They know what's going on. I mean, they've been looking fantastic, and sure, there's been some individual plays, but it's not like it's anything massively out of the ordinary. Like Cabal,
it's not like it's a Kaze performance.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Like, the reality is, we're seeing some serious problems for the ViCi side. Definitely when it comes down to even holding their own individually versus this team. And I'm worried, Tom, because I said 7 rounds is where I wanted to see Tiger by the end of the half. Well, they're looking like they might do one better. And as Dinko was pointing out, and as we said towards the start of this game, last time, as much as we'll harp on the Tiger CT side versus Beyond most recently, obviously it's a little bit of recency bias when we look at that game, because last time they played ViCi, they got 11 rounds. And although on some of the other maps, their CT side is definitely still a massive problem for them, I don't think it's been as consistently an issue when it comes to train.
Yeah, to an extent. I think it's more like... obviously, if you look purely at numbers, there's going to be favorable points for Tiger. I just saying it in terms of the actual setup that I've seen, I don't like it. Like, and obviously, you're going to rely heavily on a B-side player anyway, but I just feel like in these situations, Tiger's retakes haven't necessarily impressed me too much. It's mainly just been that Urkus does enough on that B side to hold their ground. And I'm hoping, at least, that ViCi, after last time, put in the research. Now, obviously, on their CT side, things have been rough. Like, I think that the main issue, like, sure, the B side over the last couple of rounds hasn't been great, but the last round had no guns. The round before, well, it was a weird play through the smoke. But A side... the setups that ViCi are running are great. Like, they've been dynamic, they've been switching things up. But you've got Zoking and Advent as like the pinnacle parts of them, and both players are having a poor game. Well, Advent's having an Advent game, Zoking's having a poor game. So it's turned into just sheer reliance on either Kaze to kill everyone or Jamyoung and Orman to try and win in the retake. And that is not a good enough setup to have. And it's unfortunate, because if you look at the actual positioning of someone like Advent, it's been almost spot on every single time. He's just whiffed his spray, which is one of the main reasons we sort of talk about the potential of him being a coach. This man is unreal. There's a potential chance, and it's not even that far away, that Kaze will get 20 kills in the first half and they'll lose the half.
Yeah,
Jamyoung,
losing the half almost guaranteed at this point.
They've lost the B side.
Yep. You know, this is the thing. Tiger were given so much space for the early A main play. They push out with one guy, and that robs away all the info. Now, I respect the attempt from Urkus to get aggressive 4v4. If he manages to get into CT, I mean, they had the read that it was a heavy stack on the A site. It is understandable, but Cabal, he was out wide. He's been headshot. There's a molly down. They're spamming up. There's no way to push down ramp. The bomb's starting to maneuver its way towards A, but there's still 2 players here. It's not like there's any weakness there that isn't present on the B site. 9, if he swings wide, is going to have Kaze to deal with over towards Connector with a scout in hand. And although 9 is full HP, Kaze's obviously got the maneuverability to bail out after one of those shots, and it looks like 9's just shot his shot, and he's going to be bailing out afterwards, making that little bit of noise towards B, hoping to pull these players over in a position with a flash down the ramp as well. Get the rotate towards the B site, but they are not buying it. They realize there's only one guy here. They even started clearing out Ivy. Fair play to ViCi. They know exactly what's going on. They're ready for this play. Long range duel versus the op. Oh, there you go for Kaze on the NCL, who was low HP. The scout makes quick work of him to the body. And 9, well, he's screwed. He's in a 1v4, and there is no way out.
Do they get the AWP? They do. They even retrieve an AK on the other side of things. Really good round from ViCi. Again, though, like, did you know what? This is something I never thought would happen. Like, you know, there's those times where you sort of mention a player, they're not really performing, they're not doing that well, and then they come back. I have never felt safer than making that comment about Advent, and then he comes into this round and just bangs the 2 first opening kills on a retake of a site they just lost. Like, fair play, fair play. I can't really say anything against that. Obviously, Kaze's still just doing his thing, even with a scout in hand. He is the deadliest player in this server. I don't think anybody can really disagree with that. Well, Zoking about to come under pressure again. Dobu, well, he might be making a sort of challenge for himself. He's walked into the A site solo and managed to get 2 kills as they line up. What a great start to the round that's been. And now we need to see some sort of re-aggression, some take back of control from the CT side, who have actually just decided to gamble a couple of players into the B side. A read potentially into the fact that a lot of the time Tiger are making these switch ups, making these moves in the other direction. However, with Kaze already down, he's not going to hit 20 frags, by the way. He'll have to settle for 18 in the first half. But they now need to try and find some positioning. The timing could actually work out. He spotted a man going down the ramp. Now, the bomb is actually still heading into the A site. Now, the bomb was not spotted. And there's a real chance that Jamyung could actually get 2 kills. Never mind, Orman's already found 1. The second player should be going down, although, never mind, Urkus has eyes in the back of his head, it seems. NCL's managed to find a trade onto Zoking. This has been a very peculiar round because although they went towards the B site, they now wrap back into A. That's the bomb drop. NCL misses the shots as well. And now there's even a flank onto the bomb. Jamyung's going to be waiting for it. Doesn't really need to take too aggressive a peek. He's even going to hear his opponent running back up. So he goes up the ladder to try and basically make that sure there's no way he could die. And this is now a plant position, which is pretty horrible. An aggressive play from Orman, though. Again, takes a 50-50 duel. Hands away the kill. Oh, you can't plant there, NCL. And he's just about got it. Doesn't matter. Jamyung's going to aggress. One of the most awkward 2v1 fights I've ever seen in my history as a commentator. But ViCi will take the round and scrape the half. I'm not even going to say take the half. They scraped that half.
Yeah, they did indeed. You know, that round definitely looked like a death match. These players kind of spawning everywhere all around the map. I like Dobu, though, in towards Team Main. He's been pretty consistently opening up a lot of space for the T side of Tiger. Now, problem is he's normally died, but in that round there, getting the 2 kills before going down was more than enough. Also, you know, when he pushed out previously and got in towards Olaf, it was the fact that he kept those 4 players in position towards the A site that allowed for Tiger to push down to B and then lose the round in just massive individual duels going the way of ViCi. But setting his team up for success, and it's that pressure that Tiger applied over on the T side that stopped ViCi from ever getting comfortable reads over what was going on. They had to fight for map control so much when it came towards the mid stage of the half. That nade, fantastic by Urkas, but maybe a little bit late actually, as it doesn't deal too much damage. And 9, well, he's stuck between a rock and a hard place on the site. T's all around him, and the Glock's more than enough to take him down in numbers and close range duels. To leave a 2v3 retake. NCL no armor, but he has got a smoke and a kit, which could be instrumental if they can make their way towards this site. But in order to do that, there's got to be a couple of kills going their way, and down goes NCL.
The audacity of Orman to just be holding that with a Glock. I'm not a fan, but it works. And now, well, Cabal, he's going to have to go for something pretty bold. Orman going to... What? Oh, no! They didn't even play that badly. They opted to play it together to try and give him the chance. Oh, no. Cabal, that's insane. That's absolutely ridiculous. But ViCi, that's another round where we're going to look upon that one and say, well, that should have been a win for you. That should have been your take. You did everything right. Sure, I guess, again, nitpicking. They could have just waited a little bit longer for him to be properly sticking the bomb, but at the same time, you can't expect someone to just 2-tap you like that.
What the hell was that by Cabal? That has scared me, if anything. Jeez. 8 to 8 and a pistol round. The Tiger just should not have had. It shouldn't have happened. It really shouldn't. At least the bomb plan's gone down, so let's just ground ourselves back in reality for a second. We know what a bomb plant means, Tom, that the T's end up coming into this round with most of the time a better buy than their opponents, and you can see that 4 Galils up against 2 SMGs and a Scout alongside the rifles. That was not the molly. I like the little head shake afterwards. You could see from the start that was not going to land, but he just chucked it anyways, right at the wall. Here we go, though. The push down towards the site. Urcast taken down straight away. It's only an SMG lost, and the support of the Scout is there to get a tag onto Kaze and almost eliminate him. But that's not really worthwhile as a trade in and of itself, and Jam Young holding a very aggressive position. He's got support. How's no one killed Dobu? How did he get 2? There was a player staring at him. Kaze. No, it wasn't even Kaze. It was the second player who died. It was Zoking with the reactions of a snail.
Oh dear, oh dear. This is starting to look pretty bad for ViCi. Around that started fantastically well. A wide peek out. Now Orman's the only one remaining. Again, this looked like a round that was theirs to take, a Cabal. Another double kill on the retake. I don't know. That again, ViCi, they put themselves into a fantastic position. They get the openers, and
can we get a
as
replay
mentioned,
of Zoking?
I don't. Pardon?
I was saying that for production, if we can get a replay of Zoking, because I'm really confused about what happened. Sorry to cut you off, Tom.
Yeah, I kind of think that, as said, like I mentioned it a couple of times, I don't think the retakes from Tiger are particularly good. At the same time, I don't really understand how they managed to lose this round. Like it's silly.
Zoking. That's how they lost it. Zoking. Like, so he is in the position where he has to cover Jam Young. Jam Young is close on train. They have an SMG and players
close on train. Plenty.
You say? Well, close on the train up in Connector. And Zoking is literally his one job is to watch the left side for Jam Young. And I thought that Zoking might have been looking away for a second. Maybe he looked at heaven. But in the replay from Kaze's perspective, I can see he was still holding that angle. And he whiffed like crazy.
Yeah, he whiffed.
Like completely to the point that Kaze, when Jam Young's like, he's pushed me, Kaze then peeks out at Grey Train and kills the dude while Zoking is still spraying at him.
Is this going to be the third round in a row where Arcus goes down instantly? He manages to survive this time. It is. Like this is sort of what I talk about when it comes to him and the B site. Like, he is having a bad game. Their B site has been lost 3 rounds in a row, and it's been very, very easy for ViCi to take. Attempt 3 of holding on for a retake. They failed in the pistol. They failed somehow in the second round, but this one seems to be going a little bit better. Zoking managing to land his shots, and now it's all on to 9. They don't need to face him. They don't need to fight him. There's only 15 seconds left on the clock. He may have a kit, but this round is already over. It's done. They've managed to finally get one over the line. It looks like Orman is still going to be attempting to have a little bit of a cheeky peek in his direction, but ViCi have managed to break it. And I am starting to get scared for Tiger. Mitch, Arcus has 4 kills.
Well, yeah, Urcast ain't having a great game. We've seen it before, though. This means they win.
Boy, you say not having a great game. I would say he's having his worst game.
Every time that Urcast is down the bottom of the scoreboard, though, they win. Every time he's on top, they lose. So maybe he's just taking one for the team. What I will say is that this economy system is bullshit. Like,
oh yeah.
Explain to me how this is fair. That ViCi, Rush B, get a bomb plant pistol round. They lose. Then they come in with better weapons. They lose, but they get a bomb plant. So then they can buy up again and Rush B and still have a favorable fight. Versus, but not favorable, but have even chances in a fight versus the CTs. And now the CTs have no money. After losing 1, they're down to pistols. ViCi haven't had to take pistols. They lost 2 rounds in a row. And
to be fair, they did
pistols.
have 2 rifles, but one of them has just decided to push it.
True, yeah, but like they've 2 rifles, a scout, and 2 deagles with no utility. It's just bullshit. Like there's no, it's unreasonable that you're given that much of an advantage.
Hey, but one sec. We have Tyloo coming up later in the day. Can you not use up all of our like allowance of swear words in this game, please? Like
That's
there is
true.
plenty more to come.
I'm just cutting
Blair's
Blair
also casting next, and you know he likes to go off the rails every once in a while. So
just excuse
you
my
said
French,
two in
but
the
c'est la
space of a
merde.
minute.
It's just
Here we
it's
go.
crazy.
Urkus. He's managed to get his 5th kill of the game. He might actually be able to. Oh, just throw the smoke right next to Zoking. Well, that was a sound cue I've ever seen. But Zoking actually got a 2nd kill there so quickly I didn't even see it.
Yeah.
And now
where was
Cabal's
it?
trying to save the rifle. He's doing a decent job of it. It'll be something to fight with in the next round, but ViCi are going to take themselves the lead. This round, definitely forgivable for Tiger. I think that obviously you're going to see those players attempting to make something a little bit more aggressive. Dobu wanted to try and be the hero, but unfortunately ended up just handing his life away. ViCi take the lead, and it's a weird one because although the CT side wasn't great, I think so far on the T side they have been better. Like, they've been the better team. Obviously, they don't deserve to get that many buys in a row, but they definitely should have won one of those rounds beforehand as well. So I don't feel too hard done by for Tiger. I don't think it's a couple of clutch rounds that managed to even get those close. And now ViCi back in the driver's seat. Cabal, he's got to make a risky play. He's got to try and do something here. The rest of his teammates have, well, I was going to say nothing, but no, Urkus has invested into a Deagle. Now, bear in mind their loss bonus is low. I actually don't even like that investment. Like, you're the B-side player. I want to see you have an incendiary in the next round, 100%. I don't think it's even viable, even slightly, to not have a full belt of utility if you're the solo B player. So, I'm hoping he has enough. We'll see. Maybe he's done the calculations in his head, and I'm a little bit off. I'm not going to claim to be a master mathematician like Mitch, man. Wow, that was a lot of alliteration. That was beautiful.
There we go.
But yeah, I don't like that extra investment. I think he almost needed to get a kill, and you can see ViCi starting to gain some confidence back. Like a few more aggressive peaks that, although not necessarily needed, are ones that would definitely like buff the stats a little bit and get everybody feeling more confident. And the thing is, like, there were going into the second half, there were definitely worries for both teams. Number one, Urkus not playing well and being a solo site defender. That's terrifying. But it's obviously he could turn it around. Number two, Zoking being the entry fragger and having a very poor game. Started this half off as bad as it can be, has now come back and started getting some really impactful entry kills. Obviously, on the other side of things as well, is that 9 has been okay. He needs to be better than that. He needs to be better than okay. Now, Urkus, I want you to take note, Mitch. He has every single nade except one.
The one that you need to solo B, would it be Tone?
Yes.
A Molotov.
I know that, like, I don't want to sit here and say that, oh, there's absolutely no way he can now win this. Of course, it's like a minor detail, but
yeah, it's a medium detail. I wouldn't say it's minor. I wouldn't say it's major. But that's why he's got a second player here, Cabal, who has got a molly to play with, who I presume is going to take on a solo B role if they do need to rotate over towards the A site. But they've gone for a very aggressive stance on A as well, I think, in order to avoid that, so they can keep this two-man setup. That's why they've got NCL pushed all the way up, and Pop, he should be safe from that molly. He's chucked it in anyways. It's a nice little smoke. Stops them dropping down because you can see their feet. That's Pop Dog at least for 30 seconds under their control. They've got T-Main being watched. They've got Ivy relatively passive, but enough that the players can't be peeked from it. And it really just comes down to this B hold, and that is what's going to be tested by ViCi. 4 players ready to burst on out. They've got a Lurk and Alman, who's starting to move towards Ivy, and I want to see him move a little bit more. Because if he's going to Lurk, if he's going to play that, yeah, okay. I thought he was going to push Ivy at this stage or try to come up behind them, and it just seems way too late to make that kind of a play. Instead, he is just going to hold in position. Is he smoking off connector? Are they selling a fake on 40 seconds? No, he's not chucked it. I'm confused about what Alman's doing right now, Tom.
I think they were about to execute, and then a smoke fell. So I think they're going to be waiting a little bit longer. He's going to try and sell a small fake, But that's all the utility gone for the CT side. So it is now going to be the full-on execution. And I like the fact that ViCi are pushing down on this wound. They're rubbing salt into it. It's not been a good hold on B so far. And although because he plays as far back as possible, he still is the guy to get entry frag. Jamyong, this is perfect though. He's going to end up with 2. A little bit of luck that goes a long way. And that's going to leave Cabal alone. He's done a great job of holding this site so far, but he needs to do more. 30 seconds for them to make this work. Jamyong falls. Cabal, he's trying to do it all on his lonesome, and now it's all on to Dobu. His teammate has set him up for the dunk. He needs to now slam it into the net. Advent goes down. Orman now the only man left, and there is a kit available, but I think he's realized this has to be the kill. The defusal is being stuck, and Orman is going to peek straight through the smoke. It's another round where the bomb goes down. It's another round where Urkis gets entried, and well, it's another round for ViCi.
Very well handled in that 1 versus 1 element, pushing out around the smoke rather than just staying passive. I think that's ridiculous. Just even seeing it back, I was ready for it, but I wasn't ready for it, you know. That push around the smoke though was preemptive before the defuse was even tapped, just so he didn't have to make the kind of a wide swing last second and potentially lose to a ninja.
Steps.
Well, exactly, that's what I mean, right? So he didn't have to just run, because he would have had to run through the whole smoke because it was quite a shallow smoke. So I like that. Solid play. Preemptive moves, and there we go, 12-9 with just pistols in hand. Tiger, they're not oh, that's a great flash. Fantastic. And it's what you need in a round like this, Tom. You don't want to just be swinging out and trying to take aim duels, because as much as I'm sure you're capable of winning them, there's no point in taking the risks up against those pistols up close. You don't want to give them any sort of room to play with. Well, jeez, Zoking's giving them no room to play with at all.
I want to point out that I'm pretty sure, so we had Advent at the bottom of the board, or near the bottom of the board. I think he was 5 and 7. I'm fairly certain, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think Zoking was 4 and 10. I think he was something along those lines. Like, he was having a really bad game. He's 18 and 16.
Wow.
That's a ridiculous turnaround, and I think that's one of the main reasons for their comeback. Obviously, Kaze he's gone from 18 kills to 23 kills. That's fine, but sure, some of these kills have definitely been eco frags, but these are the sort of rounds where, firstly, he's building up confidence, and that was some clean shooting as well from Zoking, but also it's making sure their money actually builds, which is something that I think both teams have really struggled with. Now, we're going to see the change to the double AWP setup. Cabal, again, I've never really been a fan of his secondary AWP. He is a fantastic rifler. He's been proving that throughout. I don't think the change that needed to be made was him. I think the change that needed to be made is still in the form of Urkast. And the one thing I really want to give credit over to ViCi for, because this is something that's irritated me throughout the tournament with other teams, is they found a weakness and they continue to press on it. They continue to put pressure on, and it makes things awkward for the opposing side. Zoking, that's another entry kill. I think we're going to have a look at these stats towards the end. Advent has managed to loop in behind their aggressive play, and they're just picking Tiger apart one by one. Nice shot from 9, though. That might be his first kill in this half. Like, he has been deadly quiet since coming onto the CT side. Zoking also going to get picked off, trying to be a little bit surprising within the smoke. And now problems start to arise for the T's, as within all the kerfuffle with all the entry frags that came up, they haven't managed to get the bomb down. And this has gone from a 5-on-3 to a 1v3. This has slipped very far away. Kaze, he's looking for 2. He wants more than 1 frag here. I think he knows how important that's going to be. He's a little bit wary of Cabal, and, well, Cabal needs to stop moving. I've never seen anybody move this much in any match in my entire life. Like, I don't think getting this kill is going to be easy, and Kaze eventually gets caught off. Great round from 9. Weird round from Cabal. But ultimately, they win it.
Yeah, it was all by Cabal. He's had too much energy drinks. Like Maui Snake, apparently. He's had way too much. 13-10. Tiger, well, they're giving themselves a chance to get back in with that round win. I have to say, for ViCi, I'm surprised that Zoking has bounced back to the extent that he did. Like, earlier on, there was a fight in which an SMG peeked and killed his teammate while he was shooting at that SMG, who then turned and killed him before being eventually traded out. Like, that shouldn't happen. Like, you've got a buffer of a whole player before that guy's shooting at you. and also it was an SMG, but and on the angle he was holding, like it was the most ridiculous fight I've ever seen. The kind of whiff I'd expect from me or Dinko, but I have to say, you know, the comeback is phenomenal. I think it's a point that we could quickly touch on about why Urcast is still holding solo B, or was in some of these rounds, like the previous, even though he's definitely not having the best of games. And I think you don't want to affect the mentality of a player, you know, just because they've had, I think they don't look at it as you're having a bad game, it's you've had bad rounds. But, you know, you trust the player, you believe in them, so you're not going to go, hey, you know, drop me the weapons, or oh, don't play, so I'll play solo B instead because you're trash. You know, you want them to feel like they can make that comeback, and you know, certainly you see with Soaking, if they started to put him in a different role, like this dude started entry fragging when he had, as you were saying, what, 4 for 14 or something, like he was doing terribly, and they were like, yeah, go on entry, mate. Like, you got to give them the confidence, you got to prop them up. That's exactly what ViCi have done. It's working out well for them in this round, though. They're at a man disadvantage. 9 trading back. Dobu, he's gotten away with murder. He's got one. The cover's there from NCL. Beautiful play off each other. Leaving Kaze in a 1v4 and not a very winnable situation at all.
He's got no time as well. There are literal seconds. Where did that bullet go? I think it must... I guess because he was moving. That's the only... I'm just gonna... He was moving. That's why he missed. I don't want to think about what happened there. 13 to 11 though. Tiger, it took them quite a long time. It does actually seem like the AWPs have made their setup slightly more dynamic. A great opening pick here from Cabal. And, well, the cleanup crew making things work a little bit better. We've also seen 9 over the last few rounds. Pick up, I think, 4 kills. So he's definitely had a bit of a turnaround as well. Things are looking up for Tiger. Now, I'll be honest, I just want to see ViCi go barreling into the B side again. Like, they haven't done it over the last few rounds. It's almost like they've taken a bit of a hiatus from winning the easy ones. I think you've just got to go back to the tried and true. Like, there has been... No, I don't think there's been a single round where Tiger have denied them a bomb plant, at a minimum. Like, I think every single round they've got a bomb plant and an entry and an after plant position that they should have won if they go B. So... even though it's only pistols and this should be a very easy round, I would still like to see them do that just for the bomb plant. That's some extra money made. It gets you an after plant position. It makes things a little bit more awkward for your opponents. And as said, like, as of right now, in terms of success rate, it is damn high on the B site. And on the A site over the last couple of rounds, they've struggled a bit.
Look at ViCi, they've given up all control of A. I mean, every time they've gone towards B, they've at least had players outside of team main. But what's... something the Tiger said, they've got control over Pop Dog, but no kind of aggressive setup on A. The fact that Heavy committing towards a 2-man B hold with that in mind is odd, but it also speaks to confidence over on the defenders of the A site, that they feel comfortable in this relatively passive hold. Dobu's whiffed on the way down. The flash just about threw him off. 9's able to pick up one at least, though. That's the start they needed with Pop Dog control taken out of the hands of the T's. Out comes the Deagle. Jam Young, he hasn't hit the second. What? How's he gotten away with that? A second shot to Urcast as well to put him on 7 HP. And this is winnable, especially with Advent making this sneaky play inside the smoke.
I think they expect it. They started spamming a few bullets through. Are they going to check?
No.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. A free kill for the first. Time is ticking. They're running out of it. Doesn't manage to get the second. There's 13 seconds remaining. Kaze needs to try and survive. He's not going to be able to. And they do have a kit available for the defuse. This B site is rough, Mitch. They are getting through by the skin of their teeth. And that is a lot of damage done in the last round. Obviously, the money's not bad for Tiger. They're still in a position where they can drop over the AWPs. They can get everything they need into this next round. Although I believe they actually had to rebuy one of them. So that's going to be a fair bit dumb. But this is just... I don't know how this happens, if I'm being brutally honest. Like, the fact that Jamie... Well, the second shot is unbelievable. The third, he a little bit unlucky to get the kill. And I think Advent actually panics a little bit here. I think if he just stays passive around the edge... He stays alive an extra few seconds, they can win that round. Instead, it ends up being onto Kaze. But that shouldn't even be a thing I'm discussing. Like, oh, if he maybe does this, then they could win. Like, they shouldn't have been anywhere close to winning that round. Back to the A site execution they go. It hasn't been particularly successful, especially since the double orbs have come in, but they didn't manage to get the bomb down last time. NCO over the top of the smoke is only going to get himself one, and now they should be able to get an after plant position with relative ease. It's going to be Jamyang peeking out with the bomb, but 9 has managed to already find another one back, keeping them with a man advantage.
Well, Cabal, he might have had that whiff in the previous round, but now he's got that secondary op, Tom, that you love to see. You can see they're just smashing him out in this post-plant advent. Not the player you expect to make a 1v4 clutch happen, is he? But he ain't gonna do it. So it's all good. We're in reality. 13-13. And that's CT side from Tiger, the thing that we warned about, the thing we said might be shaky. Well, it's definitely looking good over the last couple rounds. Sure, a lot of them have been close when you look up against the pistols and the faster beat plays, but the post plants haven't been there to close out the rounds. And you now look at a position where realistically I think Tiger should be taking... I mean, ViCi will full by here, right? So maybe not taking the lead just yet. But they bought themselves right back into it. It was 13-9, Tom, right?
Yeah.
And they've gotten their 4 rounds in a row. Certainly a boost of confidence. And Cabal, that secondary op, as I said, you'd love to see it. And the dude's close to 30 kills, even despite that whiff against the Deagle just a round ago.
Oh yeah, it was 5 T rounds in a row from ViCi Gaming, and you had to really see too much else. Cabal's been having a phenomenal match. He is currently 27 kills. Well, it says his weapon of choice is the AK-47, but I do wonder if that might be changing. I'm hearing a lot of typing in the chat, so I'm going to assume, yeah, this is not live.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they got their 5th in, but they had to restart it. So
I'm still looking at that B site. I want to see a full buy execution. I gave credit earlier to ViCi for putting pressure on B, and then they stopped and started going towards the A site, where they've been running into Cabal quite regularly. He's been doing a great job. I think Nine's had a big step up with the AWP as well. So I want to just see if they can go back to what was the tried and true. They had some great entry frags. You can even see that Urkest has started playing the B site in a completely different way to the way he normally plays it. He's normally right up aggressive at the front of the bomb train, and he's been playing passively all the way at the back of the site, and they've pretty much been playing retake from the get-go. So they can guarantee after plant position. Sure, they're much more scrappy than what you might see on a clean A-site take, but at the moment, I think that might actually be what ViCi needs. Like, get some of those scrappier plays. It is actually Urkus to be the one, like, resetting everything. Maybe just wants those clean stats, or potentially just feeling like he's having a few issues here and there. But nonetheless, Tiger, no matter what that may be, they're back into this game. And as said, we're seeing the step up of 9. Cabal's been fantastic. Dobu's still putting up numbers. So, if anything, maybe Urkus being at the bottom of the board is going to be enough for them.
So we're having a tech issue, obviously. One of the guys having a problem with his keyboard. Might have pulled a Mitch on it. Poured some Fanta inside of it. Did that 2 nights in a row. It didn't go well. Although somehow the keyboard's still working. I don't know.
I don't know. I've seen you play. That's questionable.
Yeah. Let me just get some scoreboards up here. That's from yesterday. I've got a... I won't say the brand name, but I've got a Chinese brand keyboard, so you probably wouldn't know the brand name anyways. And it's
is it called a Huatsai?
No. But oddly enough, it's broken a number of times, and yet it's still, like, it comes back. There was a week where I poured water in it by accident, and for a week it didn't work. And then I just plugged it in just before I was about to buy another one, just to check, and it works again. I don't know, it's weird. The keys are broken now, though.
It's so aggressive from Cabal. Oh,
Okay. He's
okay.
got the smoke,
He's
though.
gonna escape. He's gonna escape. That's fine. It's very risky. I feel like it's got to the point where a lot of the time he feels the need to make these sort of plays with how things have been going. It is looking like ViCi are setting up for that B site execution. As said, it's something I want to see. I like that we've had a switch up in setup again. It's been 9 over there a couple of times, but now they put the Starman of Cabal. They're almost using him as just that rotational star at this point. He spotted the foot. And, oh, I don't know how he's managed to miss that. Again, they're going to get the cross into the site. Urkus, can he hold the line this time? He will. I think that's the first time we've seen him not get instantly entry fragged. Jamyong's going to get aggressive around the smoke. They're still yet to get the bomb down, maybe hoping that he can pull off a miracle. And whoa, straight through. It's going to be 9 going down. He takes a lot of damage, though, and that's the only frag they've managed to find. They managed to get the bomb down. Advent has found one, but it's left onto him and Kaze to pull off a miraculous display. And I don't think it's happening. They lost too many players on the entry, and well, it's finally happened. Tiger have managed to hold the B site and hold it relatively clean.
Kaze's even pulling back, going for the save. Yeah, Urkast finding that opening kill. Even goes on to deal more damage in the round, and I think that's a big turnaround for them. My man of Urkast, well, I almost booked a flight back to Australia yesterday for, well, he's got himself 9 kills. While Cabal is about to breach 30. As you said, it's been an underwhelming performance for the solo B player, but that doesn't mean you swap him out of position. It's all about the mental game. You got to believe in your players, and for Tiger, you see they do. Thing is, they've got to earn that belief now from us. It's 14-13. Well, their CT side has picked up 5 rounds in a row. They're up against a full buy, pretty much just because Kaze managed to save over that AK. He's got money up for an op if they do lose this round, but that is about all they'd be able to get. And that's not a good start. Zoking trying to entry in towards A, caught behind the molly, and NCL just deals with him so quickly.
Here comes that execution. It's not going to be the best. They've lost their entry fragger, so someone else is going to have to pick up the mantle. And by the looks of it, they've tried to sell this as a fairly elaborate fake. I don't even know at this point. One man heading over to beat. They've used up all of their utility, Mitch, for this. And they're way too slow. Way too slow. It has at least managed to get Jamyong out, but he should be dead here. I don't really know how he's managed to get this far, and he's going to get a kill onto Urkus. What's going on? How is that not traded? How has Jamyong managed to get that entry kill? That's just silly, and they managed to get an afterplant off what was a truly atrocious attempt at a fake. It was so slow. Jamyong again, aggressive. They have to expect him at this point, but the trades come back thick and fast. A 2 versus 2, Cabal and Dobu, both orbs in play. Any peaks from the T side would be at their own peril, but if they wait patiently, it's going to be very difficult for these CT side players to get in. 20 seconds left on the clock, but they are playing individually. Sometimes that's enough. Kaze is going to get the initial kill, and now it's left onto Advent. He's going to go for a face, but does he need to peek all the way out? And he's going to lose the round because of it. I guess he couldn't see the bomb at all, and Dobu clutches the round. 15 for Tiger. It's not quite enough for ViCi. Again, that's another clutch situation that's gone in their opponent's favor. Tiger looking like they're going to get it over the line. It's been a ridiculously close map, though, Mitch. I feel like this could have gone either way at any moment.
Why did they plant where they did? I would forgive it if they didn't have heaven control, had they just have pushed ramp, but they did have heaven control.
I guess it's for where Jamyong was, but that seems a bit audacious.
Yeah, it's quite short-sighted as well. Like, they're obviously going to retake through him, so if they do get to the bomb, well, he will already have killed them, or he'll be dead, in which case planting for him is quite irrelevant. Oh, those nades. Zoking, the entry fragger, as he has been on the T side, has been fragged up by 2 grenades and fragged up by NCL afterwards. But the trade is there. That's all he's needed for. Unfortunately, Advent then goes down right away, and despite Dobu's low HP, the man does survive to potentially be a bit of a snake swinging in towards Olaf to do some damage. The bomb makes it to site, but here's... Well, Dobu's actually being dropped, so they'll get that plant down. He tried to move out of the back trains, and instead, the bullets were just waiting for him.
Ooh. Orman being a little bit cheeky there. Molotov's actually really well placed. That forces out one, but Jamyong still wins the battle. That is unlike Urkest. And I think that's pretty much this whole performance from him so far today. Nice shot from Kaze. He's not going to miss those. And 9, he actually has no choice but to save Mitch. Their money's really bad. I think that's a testament to how close this has been. Bear in mind, this has now been 6 rounds in a row for the CT side, and they cannot buy off the back of their first loss. Well, they will have to, but they can't get a good buy.
But even though they can't get a goodbye, if they win this round, they might be able to say goodbye to ViCi on this map at least. It'll be 16-14, one final chance to avoid an overtime now for Tiger. There is no way that they're going to be going down to an eco. They've got their op in play, and what else will they go for alongside it is the question. An AUG on Dobu. But then it gets down towards the bottom of the barrel, Tom. It starts to fall off pretty quickly. You know, you're looking at those two players. Oh, they've got armor, they've got weapons, they've got utility, and then the rest of the team. Well, we even need a kit. Someone's going to have to take that one on the chin. Looks like it'll probably be NCL. And yeah, he affords a full utility belt. I think they pulled the calculators out for that one just to make sure. They got the SMG, the armor alongside. Missing head, or Kevlar, or head armor, sorry. The helmet. There we go. Third time lucky. It's not the biggest deal because obviously you're against AKs, you're against an op. So I'm surprised it's even been invested into for the likes of Cabal.
Let's go, Cabal. He's going to get one. He's found Jamyong as well. And I thought he was going to escape. I thought that was going to be one of the... you needed the Mission Impossible theme or something playing during that one. That was a really nice attempt. Because this is cheeky. It's such a common spot. It's such a common spot. But even still, he's going to manage to get a kill. There was a temptation to just barrel into the side. But look at the trades. The trades so far have been more than valuable. That's a pistol down for a rifle and an XM down for a rifle. Now, obviously, the XM is actually... That's a pretty bad trade. But sarcasm for anybody who isn't fluent. But other than that, they've managed to get an AWP v AWP. You got the AUG on the other side, and then it's only really NCL's SMG that becomes a weakness here. Orman, though, has managed to gain quite a lot of ground. If the timing's right, he could get a free kill, but it seems like 9 has managed to get into a fairly aggressive position, and this could be so valuable. They're looking to try and make their way out pop. Again, it's going to be crucial. He's actually going to go peeking in. The timing is perfect. No trade available as well. He'll keep the man advantage in their favor for now. Orman is going to try and sneak his way out of Ivy. With the smoke going down, there's not really that much of an opportunity for a trade. They're looking to try and find some sort of clearance elsewhere, and they're being flanked in from NCL, who's going to be looking to try and come down the ladder from Pop. Kaze is looking in the wrong direction, but he just about manages to walk away in time. This is everything, and the push comes in from behind. The SMG spamming away. There's only 9 seconds left. They've done it, Mitch. The janky buy, the dodgy buy is going to take it over the line for Tiger. This is a scrape, to say the least, as they just about make it over the line, but it is